What was that?
But I ain't leaving, so you're not getting rid of
Mine
it.
was
Yeah,
eight.
it's
Come early
keeping a
for.
place.
Huh?
recording?
Tell me to come
We
early
are
'cause it-
good.
Okay.
Come early because they had to tell us something.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, no, wasn't that there.
We'll
All
quit
right,
filming.
you got it?
Yep,
Nicole?
we're all good, sir.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Wednesday, December 1st, about 1:35 in the afternoon. Call this meeting to order. First item of business is a public hearing. This time, comments will be taken from the audience. Please limit the comments to 3 minutes, and there will be no discussion. Is there anyone to speak on variance request 21-2856, property at 108 Dunes Drive? No,
I'm the applicant, so if you guys have questions for me, there.
okay, we'll call you up when it comes up.
Yes, sir. We just know who
Okay,
to throw things at.
all right, no testimony. We'll move into the Board of Adjustments meeting. First item is discuss and take actions on the minutes from the September 8th, 2021. I hope everybody got a chance to get the email and read them.
No.
Do we have any discussion? Can I hear a motion
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
on September 8th,
Oh, I second that.
2021?
Second.
I second that.
We have a second by Flip. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, discussion and take action on variance request 21-2856. Applicant is requesting to reduce the required design flood elevation by 6 inches. Requested by La Vista Owners Association, Inc. Property location 108 Dunes Drive. Can we have some staff?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let my floodplain administrator, certified floodplain administrator, CFA, Nicole, kind of lay this out. It's pretty straightforward, but I'll let her mention it. And technically, it's a flood variance request, which
What part of town?
still
is
varies.
this?
So this right here, let me zoom out a little bit so you get it.
Down Lantana.
Down Lantana.
This is the
Condominium.
Dunes, condominiums right here. This is Lantana
Got
Drive,
it, got it.
Dunes Drive,
Got
that
it.
continues to Beach Street. So
And the
this is
connector over the beach, got
the
it.
dead end of Dunes Drive.
Roger.
So this is what it looked like prior to the hurricane. There was I want to say 6-unit condo there, short-term rental.
6.
After the hurricane, this was knocked down.
Wow.
Currently, there is a 3-unit townhouse condominium project that has been built there.
So something's there.
So the property is in a VE zone, VE 11.
Velocity.
So
Currently,
the lowest horizontal member should be at 12 foot. Upon receiving an elevation certificate, the lowest horizontal member is only at 11.6, which meets FEMA standards, but doesn't meet our +1 standards.
So we're +1 of FEMA,
Correct.
according by zone.
We've got a higher standard based on our 2015 building codes. Now that horizontal member is not for any habitable space, it's only for the garage floor. They've got the appropriate flood vents that are required in that garage, so we don't think that it poses a life safety issue. And on top of that, we're still using the flood maps from 1992, the preliminary maps that are someday to be adopted by Nueces County completely takes this house out of the VE zone. And this will be a moot point.
What zone does it put it in?
An AE zone. So
which doesn't use the lowest horizontal member for their measurement.
Oh, it doesn't?
AE is just,
Okay, all right, got it.
it-
What does
I've
it?
never heard this before, ever.
it's just a zone, a flood zone that's in the 100-year floodplain.
Right.
And at a certain elevation. So a VE zone is a velocity zone that is subject to wave action in the event of a storm surge.
Oh, like under my house?
Mhm.
So-
Yep.
So this whole area completely comes out of that zone. Those maps are based on, 1992 data,
Mhm.
so really old, not as relevant data as what we've got now. So granting the variance doesn't cause any life safety concerns in our opinion.
Okay,
And-
somewhere in the packet or something, I saw material was copyrighted.
So we
I was
can't,
curious
we
about that
can't
too.
provide you plans for the house in your packet. We aren't able to share
It's
that
not a house though,
information.
is it? Isn't it a condominium?
But it's privately owned, so they're singly owned, 3.
Okay, but they're counting.
Multifamily, it's a multifamily
Multifamily.
Right,
project.
but I mean, it's one big building.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Three units under one roof.
Okay.
We can see the
That's fair.
plans. I've got the
Right.
plans here, and you're more than welcome to
Oh,
look at
no,
them.
I'm just
I
wondering
can't
why.
send them in any correspondence.
It doesn't seem real cooperative, is
It's-
what I think we're saying, right?
It's intellectual property.
It's just a higher
Wait.
standard that they've imposed on documents like this.
Okay.
Answer any questions.
Yeah. But let me go on. So we've had very few of these circumstances. And again, the velocity zone is again, not rare, but a little more unique than our standard construction. And again, the measurement that the BE zones use, as Nicole mentioned, is the lowest horizontal member. Any other zone, we just use the finished floor, top of finished floor. So that's not that that's an excuse, but my whole point where I'm going with this is that effective January 1, we've internally developed a policy where we're going to require form board surveys rather than receive an elevation certificate based on plans where they say we're going to build it to 12 feet. It gets poured, and 6 inches in the scheme of things isn't a great amount. It should be precise, but then we get the final elevation certificates. Oh, we're 6 inches too low. So we think that this procedure will probably mostly eliminate those errors, because prior to even pouring it, you have to have that form board survey that will set the elevation. So like I
Okay,
said,
I have a question. Who's going to be doing the floorboard surveys?
a surveyor.
Survey.
Okay, sorry.
It'll be an additional, it'll add a slight additional cost, but the same ones that are doing elevation certificates, they're the only ones capable, I mean, with the equipment and the expertise to do that.
So now we're just depending on
So they
people to do it correctly and
They
come
give us-
back and
They give
say,
us an elevation certificate at the beginning that says, based on the construction plans, this is the level that the floor is going to be at. We don't
okay,
require anything else throughout the construction. At the end, they give us an elevation certificate that says, this is what level we really built it at.
Okay.
Typically, it's always a little bit higher than the original one that they sent it to. But sometimes it's a little bit lower, which can cause some problems.
right. But what I'm asking is, how does it happen that it's supposed to be one and it ends up being the other? I mean, tell me,
Because there's no check and balance in between the two.
Human error.
And it's a costly error it's a costly error when you're in a flood zone.
Mhm.
That error ends up costing them significantly. Now, the ones that we've seen haven't, well, I think maybe with a rare exception, haven't been below FEMA's guidelines. They're just below our adopted code, which
Right.
adds the 1 foot. So it hasn't presented a problem for us as a community, and for Nicole as a floodplain administrator dealing with FEMA, where it would be a violation and a slap on our wrist. So those haven't happened, but you're right. It should be precise. And we think going after this form board survey process, will eliminate that in the future.
Yeah.
If you remember that
'Cause
in the
it-
minutes, that's the same conversation we had in September.
Right.
And the process that we were putting in place then. We do have to give people time because that's a pretty big
oh, sure.
change.
So you send the surveyor out to put a stick on the form board
Essentially,
before
yes.
they, before they. pour.
They don't, the person building it's going to.
Right.
And they have to provide that information
To us.
prior
Right.
to moving forward with their inspection.
Simple enough. That's how you do it.
I mean, a licensed surveyor, he's got a lot of stake for
Yep.
fudging.
Oh, yeah, they
So-
won't.
All right. Any further discussion?
And again, no adverse impact. I mean, this has, I had one call, talked to the Jason, one of the property owners that was in the area, specifically asked, well, how's that going to affect my property? And I basically said, technically not at all. Property's already there. It's not going to have any runoff effect, any adverse impact to you whatsoever.
If it was
Um,
habitable space, we would have.
We have to send notice out, by the way, like any other
Yeah,
variance. So
Okay,
that was what prompted the call to us.
If it was habitable space, we would be a little more worried about it. If it was below FEMA's guidelines, I'm not sure we would even be bringing it to you.
Mhm.
So we just had no strong objections.
So y'all are okay with it?
Staff recommends, approval.
Motion.
Yes, sir.
I move we approve.
Second.
Okay, you want to put a little something with it? Approved variance request 21-2856. Property at 108 Dunes Drive.
I think that's what he meant.
Go with that.
We got a motion? We got a second? Any further discussion? Motion, let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right.
What about the opposed?
I don't, so anything else on my agenda?
No, sir.
This meeting is
Can I ask
adjourned.
On the form board survey, the way these things go down is we do, them. I mean, these guys know, I don't mess up rules. And in this case, it was every garage in this town is allowed to be at base flood elevation plus half an inch. In a VE zone is the only place that it was, I had no idea that a VE zone they had to reflect the flood. That's why this error started in the first place, because Boss Engineering, a licensed surveyor, put it at 12 feet. There was no way to ever get to 12 feet without draining into the neighborhood. So we set the drainage on the property where it was perfect. We were above base flood elevation of the garage. I thought we were perfect. And then until they caught it at the end, they're like, oh, you're saying that was off. But when the form board surveys come back and you do a slab on grade, you do mark a height. So you get a height, a check. We do this with every job. You get a height, plus you make sure you're not in any setbacks before anything ever gets poured. On a piling structure, this is all a piling structure because it's in a PE zone. They don't mark heights. So just something to be aware
Yeah,
of.
and like I
if you're
said-
Going to the form board, you should ask for a mark on the lowest.
I wish we surveyed
Well,
pilings
maybe
and.
it's
The
finished
piling and the
heights,
lowest horizontal
everything.
member to make sure it gets checked.
Sure.
People
I've
do
seen
them
piling.
anyway, the letters require
Yeah.
every job.
I'm not sure if we're gonna require a form board survey specifically or an elevation certificate under construction, which would show that.
Either way, it'd be a great CYA because people have to do it for the banks anyway. So it's not an extra cost because they are.
Right.
So it's easier. to-
But we see a considerable number that don't.
Well, when Tony Salazar shows up to form it up, it's a guesstimate. They're a good crew.
They shoot,
They're
they
guessing.
shoot elevations.
Yeah, but it's 6 inches. I mean, by gosh and by God.
A laser level is not that expensive to shoot your own elevation and check it. We check all our own stuff just to make sure and then do it again. You could buy a used one.
Y'all can borrow mine. I got one.
Oh, there you go. Let's got one too. So, thank you, guys.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Questions for you?
Thank you, everybody.
Let me check.
Adjourned.
I
Do
doubt
we
we'll,
need to sign anything?
I doubt we'll see,
No?
Today.
I doubt we'll see anybody.
That was it?
That was it.
I was like, where's my book?
Huh?